What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. For those of you that watch my channel for the Jeep build, you're going to be very happy with me because I finally got back to it and I got a lot, I didn't get a lot done. I got some stuff done and I want to update you guys, and we're going to dive into the 327. Well, I kind of already did dive into the 327, and we're going to figure out this problem today because I'm pretty determined. I think I did figure it out, but I'm going to update you guys, so check it out. So look at that, it's actually sitting on four wheels again. You can probably notice that it's completely raked out because I was not able to score some used, I posted in all the Facebook groups about the Hell Creek suspension lift springs they make for these, the 4-inch lift springs. And obviously no one had those laying around and they cost so much. I couldn't justify spending $800 on leaf springs for just the front on a Jeep that doesn't run, that I've never driven down the road. Well, I haven't really driven at all. So I kind of turned the train around on this, and I'm going to make this truck for sure run and drive and then mess with the fun stuff, because that's the only way I could justify ever spending that money, is if this thing actually drove. So for right now, the Dana 44 closed knuckle, fully rebuilt, painted, gone through, all new steering components. It's back under the Jeep. New brake hoses, new brake lines, except for that one that's over there. I got to put that in, but other than that, they're all in. And it's sitting right back down on the actual, there's no blocks in the front. If you remember how this truck was sitting before, the homemade style lift kit it had on it, I had a separate video on that. But that 4-inch lift block right there, two 2-inch blocks welded together, was under the axle with some just really long, really skinny rusted U-bolts. If this thing did drive and I would have turned a corner and hit a hole at the same time, it probably would have folded on itself. So since, yeah, no lift springs are in it now, it's sitting at stock ride height, because I obviously got rid of that and I just set it back how it was. So those won't fit. So that's why those are on, and whatever. But yeah, that's that. Also, the axle, since it's rebuilt, the brakes are all brand new. I mean, down to the drums, they're brand new. And let me show you, I don't have a light, but axle's nice, red oil pan. All those seals, look at that, fancy. Tie rod ends, drag length, all that stuff. It is new. It's great. So at least it'll steer now. So if you guys remember from the old videos working on this, or if you just haven't seen any videos yet, this engine runs, and it didn't run good. It had a pretty bad miss. And also there was no oil getting up to the head on this side, and that's the main reason why it's taken apart now, and why that's the main reason why I dove into it, because this thing's not going to run for long with no oil up to the top end. And the miss is just that's a secondary problem. So as you can see, I took the intake off, I took the valley cover off, everything up here has already been taken off, obviously. Valve covers, and the whole rocker assembly is off. Well, let me show you what I found and what I think is the actual problem with why the Jeep why this motor isn't getting oil up to the top end. So I kind of got a mess in here because of what this turned into, but here is the rocker assembly, valve train, whatever you want to call it, same thing, whatever, out of the Jeep. And this is the driver's side. This is the driver's side here. So this is the one that wasn't getting oil. This is the passenger side, which was getting oil flow. But as you can tell, tell me what's wrong there. See a problem? Yeah. So I obviously can't, this whole thing needs to come apart. It had these washers and a C-clip type thing on the end here. And these rockers should slide off, and then I was going to put them in the ultrasonic cleaner. This used to be simple green, now it's black because I already ran stuff through it. But all these rockers need to go into there and get cleaned out, because of what I found on the couple that came off is that little tiny oil hole. That is where the oil comes up and then rolls down this and feeds it gets oil to the push rod there. So, or where am I thinking here? That's the push rod. So that's how the push rods get oil, through that tiny hole. And this whole thing fills up with oil, and the head bolts go through here. It's kind of hard to visualize if you don't know what I'm talking about, but this bolts down, and they're hydraulic lifters, and you can't set lash. It's just, yeah. So I don't know if that one was even plugged. This one, One of them looked like, I mean, it was set up like concrete in there. I used a pick, I could not get it out, so it needs to go through this, which would make it look brand new. If you're not familiar with ultrasonic cleaners, they're amazing. They make stuff look like it just left the factory. But while trying to convince or persuade this one to come off, these pedestals are very stuck on here because I'm sure this has never been disassembled since '66. I tapped it one time with a rubber mallet and it snapped in half, like just clean in half. So obviously, that is a big issue. So, believe it or not, when I posted in the Jeep, the full-size Jeep groups, somebody actually sent me a link. A guy had 327 parts on Marketplace, and he has the valve train. So I'm waiting to hear back from him. Hopefully we can score that complete valve train that looks way cleaner and better condition than this, and put that in the Jeep, just bolt it in, and clean it out a little, obviously, while it's out. But that should solve our oil problem, because I know, I mean, these are super plugged. I mean, that has to be the issue. Because when you pull the bolt out, these get oil through a bolt. One of these, it goes through and it feeds oil to this tube, which fills with oil and then fills the rockers. The bolt's clean, and when you pull the bolt out, oil will squirt out. It's getting stuck in here. So that's that problem. Back out here, while I'm here waiting to hear about getting that valve train off Marketplace, hopefully that guy will sell it. If not, we'll have to get a little more in-depth with searching. But while I have the engine this torn down, I borrowed a cylinder leak down tester from a friend at work, and I'm going to hook that up to this. And I've never done one of those tests before. It seems pretty simple. And I'm going to check the heads because of the bad misfire this has. The lifters don't seem stuck. No, I can't find a stuck lifter. They all move. They're kind of worn out. I don't know. I'm gonna throw lifters in it because they're like $3 a piece on Rock Auto. So I'm just gonna order those and throw them in because this is a part. Probably throw fresh push rods in it, but it was missing on more than one cylinder. So we're gonna do this and see if any of the valves are stuck open or not closing all the way. And because I can't think of a better time to pull the heads. I already have this torn down. I pull the exhaust manifolds, which I already have brand new bolts in them, and the water pump, and it'll water pump crossover, whatever. And I can just pull the heads on this thing and take them to a machine shop and get everything lapped and fixed. So that's the plan for today. I'm gonna get the leak down test, and I'm gonna pull these spark plugs out and start that process. And I'll pick up the camera when I'm ready to do the first one, and then we'll go from there and see if we can find any drastic problems. Hopefully nothing too bad, not worn rings. I've never done one of these tests, but apparently you can tell if the air is escaping through the intake or exhaust, obviously, because it fills the cylinder chamber with air, with pressure. And if you can hear it through the oil fill cap, then your rings are shot, apparently. So everything's probably shot, but we're gonna do that, and then we'll decide if we're gonna pull the heads and go from there. I gotta show you guys this real quick. I'm pulling the plugs out. I've gotten 1, 2, 3, got those 3 out. And I know before, when this engine was running, I had pulled off the spark plug boots for multiple, like all the cylinders. I went through, pull it off, put it back on to see if the idle would change, to see which cylinder was missing. And I had put new plugs in it, like right before I quit, like messing with the engine. This is probably like a year ago at this point, since the last time we were working on the engine. We did the exhaust manifolds. I think it was last January or something. So I just pulled those 2 plugs out, and look at them. This one's covered in oil, and this one is obviously super crispy. And I think I found out one cylinder is not firing because I pulled that one out and it's brand new. So that's one cylinder we have an issue with, because that's never fired once. It's pretty hilarious. So let me keep going and I'll let you guys know. Well, according to what I've watched on YouTube, this is pretty horrible. It's just dropping the entire engine, which would be the rings, is just hissing back at me. And this one of the intake valves is absolutely screaming too. This sucks. That's a lot of air. It just sounds like compressed air just going in the engine. dropping that fast? I don't know. Any other exhaust? No noise back here. Guys, this makes me very sad. I got this in the cylinder that hasn't even fired. I'm pretty confident saying the rings in this engine are basically gone. I can see when I take every cylinder I've taken to top dead center, I can see in the hole. It's wet and full of oil. I mean, I think the rings are gone. Yeah. I don't even know what to do. It's all hissing from the crankcase. I mean, I think the heads are fine. I mean, they're not great, but they're okay. It's just an engine with the rings are toast. Oh, this sucks. I mean, this thing doesn't lie. It's just hissing out of the lifters. None of it's coming from the intake valves. I mean, that cylinder hasn't even fired because it's just, I don't even know. I think I just need to get this thing out of here and on a stand. I don't know, guys. Hold up, I'm an idiot. I had the shop air part set up wrong. The engine's not totally dead. The rings are, well, this was just at 100, so that was at about just over 70. So I got about a 30%. I got about a 30% loss, and it's all rings. I cannot find a leaking valve at all so far. But yeah, so far it's all in the rings. But what we're dealing with is just a worn-out engine so far. As long as these valves are sealing up, I don't know why that cylinder isn't firing. I gotta figure that out. I think we down to the distributor, or I don't even know if it's spark plug wire on. Maybe it was broken. One of these actually, these wires was like broken side, so. But yeah, you see it right there. It's all coming from the valley, the oil pan. So yeah, I think we just got worn rings. That's all that's wrong with this engine. That's exciting. I'm gonna keep going, knock out the rest of these cylinders I haven't done yet, and let you guys know what's going on from there. All right, guys, second to last cylinder. I got one more left after this, but so far they're all even, and about 30 to 35% loss, which is not good, but it is good enough. It's good enough for what it is, and it's good enough for who it's for, because it's me. It'll run like that, as long as this last one is good. And this makes sense, to just be a worn out engine, motor, whatever you want to call it, engine, because the compression test on this the compression was lower, but they're all totally even, like on the money even, just lower than what I think it was supposed to be, around 150. I think it was right around 100 or 120. I don't really remember. This is a long time ago. But that makes sense. The heads seem healthy, and I think it's just worn rings from being an old engine. And the odometer, let me show you, and the glove box both say, like, the pedals weren't worn, so I'm like, oh man, maybe. So the odometer says 40,000. I gotta figure out, this thing never opens. So the odometer says 40,000, and this says the last oil change, which the original owner told me, or the last owner told me, that it was done, that's her handwriting, it was done at 39,000. But me and her both, because I was like, hey, is that 140 or is that 40? And she goes, look at it, it's probably 140. And it probably does have 140,000 or 240,000. It looks more like 340,000. And the engine's definitely, it's got RTV on it. Someone's got into it, but I'm guessing it's just worn rings that hasn't been rebuilt. So this is a good sign to me. It's worn out, but it'll run, which is all I want this thing to do. So let me do that last cylinder, and then hopefully if that one's good too, we're gonna be able to put this thing back together as long as I can get those parts and run it how it is. All right, boys, I've checked every single cylinder. Even right now I'm hooked up to the one that it has not fired according to the spark plug, and it's even testing exactly how it should. It's even with the rest of them. So I don't know why that cylinder isn't firing. I guess if it's not intake or exhaust, it's not a head problem, and you see it right there. So it must be maybe I had a spark plug wire problem, or I have no idea. That's weird. I got to figure that out. So that's why the Jeep was running weird. I mean, why the motor would why it's missing so bad. I have one cylinder down, it looks like. But yeah, other than that, they're all down 30%, between 32 and 28%, which is actually better than I thought. But that just goes to show you, learn your equipment or your tools, whatever you're using, before you try to do it. Because I feel like an idiot that I shut the compressor off. No wonder the air pressure is going to drop. I'm an idiot. But now I know, and I feel a lot better, because this video started out catastrophic, and now it's not bad. I think this engine is going to be okay for a while longer, you know, for what I want it for. But let me shut this off, unhook this, and we'll finish out this video. Well, guys, I think that's all I got for you today. I'm going to go ahead and message this guy on Marketplace and see if he'll end up selling me that valve train, because I feel good about that test, doing the leak down test. Everything's within right around 30% loss, which isn't great, but it's not bad at all. It's going to be a running engine. As for the misfire, I don't know. We'll have to figure that out when the engine's back together, sadly. Maybe a lifter was stuck. One of those was being weird. Maybe I have to look. Maybe it was that one. But like I said, I'll probably just order some lifters, push rods, put the new valve train in. I got a whole gasket kit coming, seal up the top end, and hopefully we get this thing on the road soon. I've had it here too long, and I want to do other projects and bring other projects onto this channel. But if this is just going to sit here forever, it's not going to, that's dumb. So I don't want to get overwhelmed with projects. So that'll do it. All I got for you today. Sadly, we're going to wait on parts now and get this thing together. But I'm back to work on it, and we are going to get this thing done. I promise you guys. So stick around for the next video. I'll try to make it soon, as long as I'm going to wait on parts. So just keep an eye out for it. Please consider liking and subscribing. Check out the other videos on the Jeep and the other stuff on my channel. See you in the next video.